It's a big week for Kansas City soccer. Yes, Sporting Kansas City is in the thick of the MLS race to the top of the Western Conference, and KC NWSL has turned its home field into a place where no visitor wants to play. Star soccer writer Shaun Goodwin discusses those topics on today's SportsBeat KC. It's Tuesday, October 19th, and I'm Blair Kerkhoff. But also, this is the week Kansas City presents itself to the world in the form of FIFA officials who will be in town to check out our region as a possible site of World Cup games in 2026. Kansas City is one of 17 cities vying for 11 spots, and FIFA, that stands for Fédération Internationale de Football Association, will be in town Thursday on a tour stop. They'll check out Arrowhead Stadium, Children's Mercy Park, and other sites that would be used if World Cup games were played here. After a break, you'll hear part of my interview with Katherine Fox. She's director of the KC 2026 FIFA World Cup bid. So let's get started talking soccer. Shaun Goodwin's with us, and you're wiping the sleep from your eyes, and I understand. I stayed up and watched all of Sporting Kansas City's game Sunday night. We're recording this on Monday morning, by the way, and I was watching the game with you along with everybody else on Sunday night. Let's get this out of the way, Shaun. What in the world is the MLS doing, scheduling a West Coast game at 7 p.m. local time, 9 p.m. our time, 10 p.m. in the East? Don't they want to draw an audience?
Yeah, you said it right there, Blair. And I was complaining about it on Twitter last night, so I'm sure some people saw me doing that. But, you know, it's outside of Sunday night football, no one else is watching any sort of sports, at least on a Sunday. And it's tough, you know, you can say, does MLS want to have a Sunday night game and put on the East Coast at 7 p.m. East Coast kickoff, which is what? 4 on the West, 6 here. It's not great. It's clashing with Sunday night football. I get that. But, I mean, if you do it 9 p.m. on a Sunday for the Midwest, it's clashing with football anyway. No one's watching it. So I was a little peeved, and so were many other people.
Yeah, and you had the baseball playoffs, Dodgers-Braves last night as well. So along with the Sunday night football, the Steelers and the Seahawks, you had, two captive sports audiences. Oh, and then by the way, on local, on the Valley Sports here in Kansas City, you had Sporting Kansas City playing. But that's what I watched, and it was tough seeing Sporting get down 2-0. Got a goal back right before the end of the first half. Great goal by Johnny Russell, but couldn't get it done and ended up falling 2-1 on. One thing about playing basically the final game of the weekend of the MLS is that how everybody around you in the standings did, and there was opportunity for Sporting to make up some ground in the standings, or at least pursue Seattle, which is first in the West, and put some distance between them and Colorado right behind them. Lost the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, obviously Seattle, Colorado and Portland all dropped points on Saturday. So, yeah, I guess there's a big chance for if Sporting win, go 2 points behind Seattle, 4 points ahead of Colorado, and you've even got Portland kind of sneaking in the background, who are now just 6 points behind Sporting too. So they all drop points. This is a great opportunity against a surging Vancouver team, to be fair, and I'm sure we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, Sporting win. I put some 2 points behind Seattle with the big game coming up this coming Saturday at Seattle. So essentially, it was almost in a sense of Sporting had fate in their own hands. Win out, you finish top of the West, and you've already fumbled that bag. So I guess we'll just have to react and go with the last 5 games now.
Kind of frustrating to watch this game unfold with Sporting possessing had the ball for about 65% of the game, accurate passing. It was, but Vancouver's defense I thought was excellent, and it made it difficult to get shots.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it wasn't just excellent man-to-man marking system, but they were disciplined as well. You weren't getting pulled out of position. I think, especially for a man-to-man if you're trying to counter a man-to-man defensive system, you're trying to create those odd man situations, 2v1, 3v2 out on the wings and whatnot. And that way, obviously, there's always a free man because it's man-to-man, it's a 3v2. But Vancouver, they stayed extremely compact and extremely disciplined, and the movement from Sporting just wasn't there. I think that's what Peter Vermeer says after the game as well. But again, we complain about this every week. Peter, he made one substitute at half time. He's got 5 to make, and he doesn't make any others for the rest of the game. And I mean, if you're complaining about the lack of movement, not moving off the ball for players, get some fresh legs off the bench. I get that sometimes you may be taking off a quote-unquote better player for a younger player or someone who's not as good per se. But they're all good enough to play MLS. They're all good enough to play for Sporting KC. They're good players. Get some fresh legs out there, get some movement, and maybe you can find something a little bit different. But instead, we just got to watch a Sporting team that didn't get a single shot on target in the second half, and only 2 shots in the box the whole game. And they were, I'm doing air quotes for people who can't see us, they were shots, being Andrew Fontas flicked header, and then Luis Martins in like 93rd minute. And I thought he didn't even touch the ball. I guess he skimmed it and it counts as a shot. So definitely frustrating. I will stop blabbering because I've got all the play, this. So tough to watch.
Yeah, it was frustrating. The Vancouver's second goal seemed to me to be a product of playing on the type of turf that they're playing indoors, of course, and ball skipped, took that fast skip, and Amelia couldn't get over there in time. It was a great shot. Both Vancouver goals were good, really good goals. But I thought Johnny Russell had the goal of the game. It was wonderfully struck, and I love that left foot dominance coming from the right side of the field, and he has just been on fire. What is it? Team record, right? Set a team record last night.
Team record, 6 straight games. Preki is, I'm sure he'd be more than happy to pass on that mantle because it was 5 straight by Preki prior to that. And now Johnny Russell's brought it up to 6. So you said it was goal of the game. It's definitely a very close one between the second goal for Vancouver and Johnny Russell. But yeah, great goal, cutting sides, got left foot. It's a wand, just got beautiful curling to the bottom left corner.
So I was. He broke Preki's record. The way I was thinking, he also broke Salvador Perez's record of a home run in 5 straight games. So there we go. Kansas City sports record. This set this just last night. So okay, what you said? Seattle is next for Sporting. Listen, a chance to. There's a 5-point difference between these two teams right now, and Kansas City can close that considerably with a victory there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Sporting has won there this year already. Yeah,
they won there earlier this year. It was a 3-1 game where Sporting took a 3-0 lead within the first. Oh no, I'm lying. They took a 2-0 lead by half time, and then Cam Duke finished it off.
Right, and won 3-1.
Yeah, won 3-1. But yeah, they won there. But that was a little bit different. There were injured players. It wasn't really the same teams. I guess it'll be a lot tougher this time around. And it's worth mentioning too that Wednesday, if you have nothing to watch Wednesday night, Seattle plays Colorado. So again, that's first place versus third. Oh my gosh, first place versus third place.
Yeah.
So that could have huge implications for Sporting too. So see what happens and see where Sporting stands heading into that Seattle game for sure.
Okay, Shaun, let's switch teams and talk a little bit about KC NWSL. When we last talked, it was the day that Hugh Williams' team was going to play at home against Houston that night. And look, Sporting's had a nice little run of home games lately. I didn't know what was going to happen in this one. And turns out what happened was the most decided victory by KC NWSL this season. and following along with you on social media, it could have been worse than 3-0.
Oh yeah, I mean that could have been a 5-6 nothing game. Addie McKay hit good posts. Kiki Pickett hit a crossbar. A couple of other really good chances that came from good saves from Jane Campbell, who's obviously a great goalkeeper. So yeah, but Kansas City still ran out 3-0 winners against a Houston Dash team that is firmly in the playoff hunt and will be in the playoffs. So absolutely, that game was the best game of the season. Last time we chatted was coming off the Portland game, which was 0-0, but that was your first place Portland Thorns League just won the Shield. And then, they turn around, Kansas City turns around and beats Houston 3-0. So that was great. And then, obviously, just to keep up with the latest news, Kansas City did lose Chicago 2-1 on Saturday as well. So a little bit of a downward turn, but I was in Chicago as well, and that was a tough game decisions-wise for KC, which I'll be more than happy to go into, but I'll let you decide on that one, Blair.
Well, I was hoping they could build off the momentum of the Houston game and get their first road victory of the season in Chicago. Did not happen. Got a nice goal, first-time goal, right, in that game?
Yeah, Haley Mace with a beautiful header. And that's something that I've seen him practicing that on the training grounds, I'm pretty sure as well. Just Lola bonks out on the corner, but she just kind of slid it over to Katie Bowen to give themselves a little bit of a better angle. And Haley Mace just running from basically the edge of the box and headering it from 16 yards out into the top left corner. Beautiful goal. But yeah, Chicago wins 2-1 because of a second half goal that looked very offside in the build-up from Mal Pugh. It wasn't called. And Chicago go up and score a goal. And after the game, Haley Mace, it was offside from it. And then Katie Bowen, who's never one to mince her words, she basically said, we work our asses off day in, day out. So I'd hope that the officials go back and watch what happened here and better themselves and improve as well. So team's definitely frustrated about that, especially when it's a one-goal game. So tough for them, but they return to play back at Legends Field on Friday against Gotham FC at 7 p.m. to round out the last two games of the season.
Friday game, that's interesting. Friday at home. Would that be the last one, the last home game as well?
No, they have that game, and then the last game of the season's at home on October 30th against OL Reign. So day before Halloween and day after my birthday. Okay.
Well, very good. Very good. All right. So when we have our chat session, Shaun, we talk about the entire soccer community here in Kansas City, and a lot of that had gathered at Union Station last week, including yourself and me. We were loitering around out there.
Loitering.
And observing the unwrapping of a streetcar with World Cup 2026 plastered on it. That was the occasion, a media occasion, and of course it was all about Kansas City continuing its welcoming process for the World Cup bid. And this week, FIFA officials will be in Kansas City. I know that the Chamber of Commerce is going to roll out the best fall weather that Kansas City can have, and they're going to ply them with barbecue when they have a luncheon on Thursday here in town. So, what were your impressions, your takeaway from the gathering at Union Station last week? And then I guess more importantly, did you leave any more or less convinced that Kansas City has a strong bid for the 2026 World Cup?
I will say right off the bat, it was your last question. I don't know if I'm any more or less convinced. I'm hopeful, and I think Kansas City's doing everything right. I also, at the end of the day, I'm not the most well-travelled human being. In the last 2 years, I've went to Denver and Boulder, and that's it. So, other cities around the country, trying to get a bid and get the World Cup, they could be doing just as great, just as awesome things in their city. And I can't sit here and pretend that Kansas City is doing any better. What I will say is Kansas City is doing very well. Obviously the streetcar is just a small part of it, but like I said, it's not good facilities in the stadiums, and we talked about all of that last week, which is great. But even just showing off what the city can bring, it's going to light up the downtown skyline for when the FIFA delegation is here. Bringing Joe's Barbecue, of course. Later that night, the US Women's National Team play in Kansas City at Children's Mercy Park, which I don't know if that was planned or not, but as an excellent timing, because the delegation from FIFA have been invited, and I assume they will accept go to that game, like the US Women's National Team. So I'm confident, and you listen to Mayor Quinton Lucas, and he's saying that this is a massive deal for Kansas City. It's not just about the World Cup; it's about going forward after the World Cup and the legacy project, and what this can do for Kansas City long term. And everyone who is involved in this is really committed, and it was on show for not the first time this past week when we were at the streetcar unwrapping.
You make a couple of interesting points. You're right. The U.S. Women's National Team is going to play in Kansas City Thursday night against South Korea. Peter Vermees brought this up last week. That look, the men's team was here in the summer of the Gold Cup, so there were some FIFA officials in Kansas City for that event as well. They got maybe an early glimpse of Kansas City. Crowds were good, especially for the game against Canada, as I recall. Kansas City's doing everything it can to roll out the red carpet. Kansas City is one of the smaller markets, bidding it's one of 17 U.S. cities bidding for 11 spots for the World Cup in 2026, and the decision will be made and announced sometime in the first half of next year. So by June, I think this was supposed to be known by now, but COVID has slowed the process, and these visits were supposed to have happened. The FIFA delegation has already been to the East Coast cities. They're making a sort of a Midwest tour, Central Mountain Time Zone tour now, and they'll do the West Coast later. We know that New York, LA, probably Miami, there's some locks for cities that are going to get World Cup games. For a place like Kansas City, though, this would be massive, and the biggest sporting event that this city has ever had. Fingers crossed that it could happen.
For sure.
Okay, Shaun, that's going to wrap it up for you and me. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, you're going to hear from Katherine Fox. She is the director of the FIFA, the Kansas City 2026 FIFA World Cup bid. Shaun and I both talked to her at Union Station last week. She had some interesting things to say. So we're going to take this break, come back, and you will hear from Katherine Fox. Shaun, good talking to you.
Always. Thank you, Blair.
Hey, it's Blair. We have a special subscription offer for SportsBeat KC listeners: unlimited digital access to the Kansas City Star's award-winning sports coverage. Sign up now for 1 year of Sports Pass for access to all the sports news, features, and columns presented on the kansascity.com site, and it's only $30. That's a 40% savings off our regular rate. Your subscription will automatically renew after the initial term at $50 unless you tell us to cancel. Your subscription helps support the sports coverage of kansascity.com and the Kansas City Star, and that support has never been more important. Please visit kansascity.com/SportsBeatKC offer to get this special offer. And as always, thanks for listening. Do you get a sense that I think we can all understand there's some locks, some cities that are going to absolutely get you get a sense of what the Kansas City's real competition is in this?
I mean, it's tough, but if you look at it from a regional perspective, you look at Denver, Cincinnati. I mean, I don't want to put money on it, but I'm sure Dallas will get something, but they're pretty close to us. Nashville. So it's tough because you don't necessarily know what FIFA's thinking when they're talking about planning matches. But I feel good about our location. We are no more than a 4-hour flight from any potential World Cup host city in Canada, US, and Mexico. So from a convenience and, transportation standpoint and things like that, we're really well positioned.
Right. I was going to say that the geography, how about, it seems to would favor, but how about market size? And can that work for or against?
I mean, yes, I think it can work for or against in the way that it would work for us. And we've heard this from other rights holders that we've partnered with on events, is that Kansas City is really good at events because of the collaboration between, like I mentioned, both sides of the state line, all the city services, the teams. It's just a very, it's an easy market to produce an event in because, frankly, we make it easy for them. We make it seamless, and we all work really well together. There's not a lot of politics you have to deal with. I mean, there's in some of these other bigger markets, it can be more of a challenge because they just have that many more layers and that many more people to keep happy. So, there's many different rounds of the tournament, right? So, maybe we might not get a final round, but as from a market size perspective, we could certainly support any other round and blow it out of the water.
I think everybody here understands, what the World Cup is, but for those that don't understand what the meaning and the impact would be, how can you explain that?
There's a couple ways I explain. I mean, there was a prominent consulting group, Boston Consulting Group, who did a study, and they came out with a report in 2018 that projected that host city markets could generate up to $620 million in incremental economic impact. That's a huge number, obviously, that we would love to get a piece of. And then, in talking to some folks, I'm trying to paint the picture of how many people engage with the World Cup, right? And one of the numbers that I throw out is I think 95 million people tuned in to the Super Bowl last year. 3.2 billion people tune in to the World Cup, which is half the world's population at the end of the day. So it's the biggest sporting event, in the world. And so I just, some people have referred to it as the, other football, but soccer is the big sport in the world. And so for us to be able to, again, showcase Kansas City on an international stage at that level would be just absolutely incredible. And again, not just Kansas City, our entire region would just be elevated with that.
What do they want to see when they come here?
So they want to see the stadium. So obviously Arrowhead would be the competition stadium. They are visiting all of the training sites that we have presented as part of the bid, which is one of our strongest bid points. We have such incredible training sites that we can offer up that I think is a huge benefit for us. And then, we're going to showcase downtown, showcase Kansas City. We will visit the sites that we have proposed as options for the FIFA Fan Fest. That's another huge component that maybe people don't understand, is that if you are awarded a host city, you have to activate a FIFA Fan Fest, which basically, shuts down an area of the city for 4 to 6 weeks where people can come and participate in all the World Cup activities, view the games, interact with sponsors. It's a huge festival that's closed off, and just an incredible opportunity for obviously everyone in this market, but then regionally to come and get a taste of it. So we will go to we've proposed Union Station and World War I. We're all familiar with that property that sort of is Kansas City's welcome mat, if you will. And then we've also proposed the south lawn of the Nelson all the way down through Tice Park to the creek. So, it kind of needs to be an open area where they can erect giant television screens where people can watch any game that's happening at any time. And then again, like I said, sponsor activation, food vendors, things like that. So we'll take them to those sites and walk them around. We've got some cool renderings that we're going to present to them of what the Fan Fest could look like. So it's an all-day meeting, but there are several groups and sort of parallel pathing during that day.
How many hotel rooms do you have to offer? If you're World Cup city, is there a minimum number of hotel rooms?
You know, I'd have to regroup with my friends at Visit KC on the specific number. We're good. They came back and asked us to provide them information about all available hotel rooms within a 3-hour radius of Kansas City.
3 hours?
Yeah. So, and again, I think that's reflective of our regional bid. I mean, we really are trying to represent the region, and people can get to Kansas City, driving very easily. And so I think that it's not unheard of for an event of this size and scope. I mean, this is unprecedented in Kansas City. People will stay 3 hours, come in for the match, hang out at the FIFA Fan Fest, and then maybe head back out. But hotel rooms are not a concern of ours. I can get back to you on a specific number, but we're good.
So, just what's your level of sleepless nights, or
do my eyes look red? It's been a lot of work. I mean, this is it's a very intense, involved, detailed site visit. But it's fun because as you get into this planning process and you are able to take advantage of all of the incredible opportunities that Kansas City provides you, you start feeling really good. You're like, this is going to be great. They are going to love it. We are going to showcase Kansas City so incredibly. We have some fans in U.S. soccer. They love Kansas City. They appreciate Kansas City not only as a soccer market, but just a market. So that's helpful. And it's been stressful, but it makes you fall in love with Kansas City all over again when you realize how great it is and how people don't necessarily realize that. And this is an incredible opportunity to just show them that.
That'll do it for today. Thanks to our SportsBeat KC production staff of Beth Welsh, Monty Davis, Jeff Rosen, and Chris Fickett. Tip of the cap to Shaun Goodwin for stopping by and talking soccer. Links to stories about Sporting KC, KC NWSL, and Kansas City's World Cup bid can be found on kansascity.com and in the show notes. Hey, let's talk about the morning sports edition. If you're not seeing this, you're really missing out. On kansascity.com, go to the Stars e-edition. That's a replica of the printed newspaper on your screen that comes with your digital subscription. Well, now there's an updated sports section produced separately that goes along with it. When you open the e-edition, there's a box in the upper right-hand corner that says All Editions. Click on that, and you can access anywhere from 15 to 50 pages of sports. Maybe you get a link in your email. I do, and it's there by about 6 a.m. every morning. Any way you get it, it is access to complete coverage of the previous day's sports, news, features, statistics, everything. It's fantastic. Okay, hey, thanks for reading the Star and to listening to our podcast lineup. You're helping support the best sports and news coverage in Kansas City, and we could not produce programs like SportsBeat KC without you. We'll be back Wednesday with another episode. Hope you'll tune in.